All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Aether Hour. This time we are joined again by Gary, our art director, and we have a new guest, Mika, who is our longtime character artist. And I am very excited to talk to Mika because I'm sure if anyone knows anything about our game, the character art is absolutely amazing, and she designed most of the characters. So it'll be really cool to talk to Mika and kind of figure out like how you got to where you are and like your inspirations and stuff like that. So why don't we just kind of jump into like a brief synopsis of your art career? Like, did you go to school? What was sort of like your path to becoming a professional?
I would say I started pretty young because my family are all creatives. So my parents are graphic designers. My grandpa was also a fine artist, and then his brother was a fine artist.
Oh,
So,
nice.
oh, I feel like since the beginning, I've just been drawing a lot, not studying much, just doing a lot of doodling in the corners of tests and getting yelled at by my parents. And then they were like, "Nope, she's a creative." So ended up going to University of Washington and then graduated with think a interdisciplinary visual arts degree,
Okay. So
and
was
then
it
just
like
started
a
applying after that.
BFA or was it just like a
Yeah,
general?
bachelor's, yeah. Yeah, general art
Gotcha,
degree, yeah.
gotcha.
Hmm.
Nice. And
Yeah.
what was the transition like to getting work? Because that's the big question for all artists getting out of school, right? They're like, I've got a
Yeah, so
portfolio,
true.
kinda. Yeah. How did that go for you?
Yeah, I think it was a lot of fighting with yourself and your own confidence. So I just worked a lot on my own portfolio, not liking it, but then just, keep going, keep applying. And then someone reached out to me right before COVID, I think, around there. And she worked at a California company, and they just wanted me as an illustrator and artist. So got the job there, and they did kind of a lot of animation stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
then, yeah.
So you got found essentially is what you're telling me.
Yeah. So like I was looking for stuff, but then someone ended up emailing me, seeing my work online. So I think having your work out there, even though the times are really different now with AI and stuff like that, I think
Mhm.
it's still good to share your work because someone might reach out to you.
Yeah, I mean we're definitely like jumping way ahead in the conversation, but between you and Gary, have you guys seen social media? Do you feel like it's different when presenting your artwork online right now? Have you guys changed anything about your strategy for posting?
I
Mm,
oh, you go
you can
ahead.
go first. All
Well,
right.
I was just gonna say I have my own personal website
Mm,
where I kind of catalog most of my work, and then the people that I like need to see, or if I need to show my portfolio, I have my my own little repository separate from the internet, like because AI is crazy right now, so it's kind of
Hmm.
it's hard to compete, especially on. I used to post every day on Instagram,
mm,
and now I just don't because it's just so saturated. So it's hard
You
out there.
also don't
Yeah.
want the machines to learn from you, I guess, is what some people are worried about. So they
yeah.
stop posting. But
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it goes back to that fundamental idea of just like have a really good portfolio, have it in a place that's like accessible that you can just ship it out if there's a potential opportunity. But it is sad in a sense because of like what you just said, where it was the same for me too. Like I use social media as
mhm.
an opportunity for people to potentially find me online and offer, gigs and stuff like that. And I think that's a little bit harder nowadays. So yeah. So going back to your story, like, okay, so you got this first job. How did that go? Did you feel like, was that like a huge learning experience for you? Did you feel like uncomfortable diving into your first like bigger opportunity? How'd that go?
Yeah, it it was a little stressful because it was based in California, so it was like full remote work.
Mhm.
Uh, it it was still in line with my style though, because
That's
I
nice.
like cartoonish styles. So she liked what I was already doing and didn't was like, oh, what you're doing right now is like exactly what I want. So the
Nice.
transition artistically was like totally fine. Um, I I did learn a lot though about how the pipeline goes for creating characters because she wanted character design. So yeah, that process was pretty pretty good and informative.
And with
Before you
yeah,
were
go ahead.
doing that, were you doing like turnarounds for characters and stuff, or is that something you had to
Hmm.
learn when you were in the industry?
Yeah, yeah. So unlike I think with Seismic Squirrel, they wanted like full 360 like T-pose like and then yeah, just kind of character sheets. Yeah, full character sheets. Yeah.
And was it 2D animation or 3D animation that you were working on?
They said it was 2D, but I think it was more of a social media account type thing. It was an unusual startup. It was really fun though, and I did like working with everyone on that team.
Nice. And how did you go from there and transition into games?
Uh, I just well, COVID happened, so so in between jobs, I was like, man, I love games, and I've always been playing it since I was like little.
What
So,
do you play? What do you play? What are you into?
uh, currently or
Just yeah, just in general. What do you like?
right now I'm playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14,
Ah, nice.
the
Okay,
online game. I think I might have mentioned that a couple times already. Oh, I really love Expedition 33.
that was
That one
great.
was a really good game. Oh, and then of course Baldur's Gate 3, like others. So a lot of RPGs. So
Yeah, like
when I
fantasy
saw the job
RPGs.
listing for this game, I was like, man, that's perfect. Because they said it was an RPG, fantasy, steampunk, looking for a character artist, and I applied really fast. I was like, this is awesome. I want it. And it's
That's
in the
amazing.
same vicinity as where I live, so
Nice. So,
mhm.
so was this like kind of the next bigger opportunity that you got, or was there something before this one?
No, so I'm like, I'm a newbie. This is my first foray into video games.
Nice.
So it's been a really awesome learning experience for sure, and it's been really fun.
You would not be able to tell looking at your art. That's for sure.
Oh, thank you.
So I think that's what's interesting too. As far as I know from Josh and Tyler, you were one of the like earliest members of this specific project. So, and I know this project has gone through multiple iterations. So what was it kind of
Mhm.
like? Like what were you told when you were brought on in terms of like how the style should look or what direction to go in? Because I know that's changed over time.
Yeah, initially, I know JP was part of the team then too.
Mm.
So the cars were always like
These are 3D
awesome,
modeler.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but like the background and the characters and the idea for the world felt very fantasy,
Mm.
I think. Like a lot more leaning into the steampunk fantasy feel. So
Gotcha.
characters were not all human, or they were modified, or just full robotic
It was
transform
more
type
anime
characters.
as
And
well.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. So since I was still in my own style, which was very anime, very cartoony. So yeah, the characters felt a bit less realistic, to put it lightly, but it was pretty interesting.
Were,
Yeah.
were,
Yeah.
were you pitching like an anime looking portfolio, or did you have kind of a variety in your portfolio for this project?
No, I think my work was mostly anime
Mm.
cartoonish. I think I don't know if Josh would think I actually didn't really know what to define my style as. I think anime is pretty close. So
Like kind of like that. Was it more like that stylized like Riot Games kind of? Because that kind of
I
leans into
wish
that.
they're so good over there. But yeah, I think something in between, maybe. Yeah,
Gotcha.
slightly more painterly, just a little bit.
So what was like what happened where they decided to then shift into something with a little bit more realism? Was that like
Mm,
game mechanic?
I think
Maybe that's more of a question for Gary or Josh. I don't know if you know Mika.
maybe. Well, from my perspective, I think it was when we got our first art director.
Hmm.
Was it Dwayne?
Yeah, because I think when I got hired on as a senior, we were just I think you were just figuring out the art style, and you had just landed on a design for Gia,
Hmm.
and we kind of went, okay, this is what we want the characters to look
I mean,
like.
Gio went through so many iterations and
Yeah.
changes from what the original design was.
Yeah, I
And,
think because yeah. Oh, sorry, keep going.
oh no,
No,
I'm
no.
sure Nick will bring up in the clips like what the old Gia and the transition.
Oh, I've got some images for you to show up.
Yeah, yeah, you'll have to send them over.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And there was originally like was this even it was originally a potential male and female character that you were designing simultaneously, right?
Yeah, their name was like really like Ozymandias? Ozzy?
Yes.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, they had a,
So you were designing, was the main character kind of like the initial focus when you were brought on, or was it like still kind of blue sky, like, oh, this is generally the world, like just go crazy with some cool characters?
so long ago. I think it was a little bit more open-ended. It was kind of like, oh, let's test out your style. Let's see how you do with these character profiles. How do you interpret it? And then just kind of running from there. World building kind of stuff. Yeah.
Nice. And did that feel like kind of a new experience for you coming off of the animation gig? Or were you pretty
Yeah,
comfortable because you knew the pipeline?
I want to say I feigned confidence. I was like, oh man, I'm learning on the job. So, I was like but it was totally fine because the team's so nice, and it was such a lovely transition. I think I was slightly worried because I knew with video games sometimes they would want to transition the 2D art into a 3D model. So I wasn't sure if that was something I should be taking into account while designing these characters. Turns out I'm doing the final character illustrations, so
Surprise.
it's different. But yeah. But at the time, I think I was thinking, oh, if this gets modeled, I need to remember that while I'm trying to figure out how this character looks in its silhouette and that kind of thing. And that was new for me because
Yeah. So when you guys were transitioning to kind of this more realistic style, what kind of references were given? Because I know that even when I applied to the job, there were sort of stylistic references in explaining what the game was about. So I'm just curious, like what they told you when you were in that transition process, if you can remember.
I think there was a handbook, right, Josh? Like a style guidebook.
Well, there was definitely a different style for the characters when Nick Kay was the art director versus Dwayne versus when Tyler was acting art director. So
Oh yeah, Tyler. Yeah.
yeah. So we had several different styles depending on like the art direction at the time. And it was very much trying to figure out what we wanted. And we eventually settled down.
Nice. So the finalized design, from what I know, it's like reference of like, what's his name? Leyendecker, right? With kind of the like hatching and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
how did you sort of develop that? Like, were you just studying other artists, or was this just kind of like you just from your imagination iterating on what you had and coming up with something? Like, how did you get there? Because it's definitely very like you, and it's very specific to this world. So I'm just curious about that process.
It was kind of tough at first because I knew of Leyendecker, but I never studied his works in depth, I guess. So when I think it was Nick was like, oh, we would like the characters to feel and look a bit like Leyendecker. I just spent so much time like looking at art books and like looking online, like really zooming in there and like looking at his technique. And then I was like, I can't quite let go of the way I do faces. And Leyendecker does quite sharp and very angular faces. So I ended up taking his painting style, which feels pretty blocky or sketchy, kind of rough, and then just kind of slapping that together with my cartoonish style line art and other things, and then just kind of praying it would work. And then like over time, I think it started looking more dynamic and more comfortable So yeah, I think it was kind of half, I worked really hard to study, and then half, oh my God, I hope this works kind of energy.
And this is something I
But
just thought about that I'm not sure if I even know. Was there like a specific person you referenced for Gia's like face? Or was it maybe just a mixture of a bunch of people?
it's a mixture of a bunch of people, but I, yeah, I can't quite actually say it was one person because I was just kind of looking at like girls that I thought looked very assertive, but had sharp eyes and maybe features that I don't know. It just, yeah, I kind of just take
all
faces and kind
came
of mush them
together.
together.
Yeah.
But a specific person, no. I just know that they wanted her to be Italian, I think.
Okay. Gotcha. So
Italian-ish.
yeah. I that for sure comes across, which is nice. And so was she the first character that you kind of defined in this new style, or were there others that you were kind of working on together?
No, I think Gio might have been the first
Gotcha.
one.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Because that would, yeah, because I think it would make sense, or I thought it would be important to make sure that the main character is the standard for the rest of them. But
That makes
hopefully
sense. Yeah. And besides sort of like you were just kind of talking about like her mood and stuff like that, were there other things that you were thinking of, maybe in particular like clothing design wise as well, because she's got that like kind of floral vest and stuff like that. What were you looking into, or what were you thinking about in terms of either her personality or historical things to like come to that finalized concept? Because like I know too how hard it is to get your main character down, you know, and be like happy with it too, because you're looking at that thing forever now, you know? So what,
no pressure.
yeah, that's what it feels like, right? You're just like, oh my God, this has to be like as perfect as I can make it, you know? So yeah, what other elements did you draw as inspiration to kind of get her to where she is?
I didn't draw inspiration from anyone in particular, but I knew that it would make sense for her to wear a lot of dark colors. So I avoided her wearing anything bright and happy sunshine because she's quite a tough girl. She's been through a lot. So, but I didn't want her to not to, I wanted her to maintain a little bit of, girly energy too. So the floral vest I thought was a nice addition. Uh, and I kind of thought roses or wildflowers were a nice symbol for her, I guess, either like prickly or just untamed and wild kind of energy.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my thinking with her final design, I guess,
Yeah.
leading up to it.
That for
A lot
sure
of
comes across.
pointy lines, edgy.
Yeah, I really love the fashion choices that you made for Gia. I love her vest. I love the floral pattern. And even among the community
Thank
and early
you.
fans, there have been people talking about her outfit and her style. And so I think that's something that will really hit with people. I have studied her vest. I love her. I love that pattern. And I'm curious
Oh, I'm
if you
glad.
did you just like make the vest and that was it? Or is that like a pattern that you sort of experimented with and fleshed out in her attire?
No, I kind of was just looking at like, what is it? Popular colors at the time, I think were really muted.
Yeah.
So, but then gray, brown, and all that is kind of boring. So I tried to add a little bit of teal in there since teal's the ether color.
Yeah.
So I wanted her vest to be a little bit bluish, I guess, without it looking too world-breakingly bright or something like
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
her vest is definitely not quite period accurate, but generally maintains a shape.
We're in a flying New York City. I think there's a little bit of leeway there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah, yeah.
certainly wiggle room. Is there perhaps like a like, did you make a swatch, so to speak, of this, of the fabric design before you sort of applied it to her vest, or does it only sort of exist on her bodice?
It's just on the bodice, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't applied anywhere else, but
Yeah, it's really
I
cool.
kind of wish I did though, now that I think about it.
Yeah, because I'm like, I have a friend who's an artist, and she's done some designs that like she ended up putting on spoon flour, and now you can just like go buy this pattern she made as a fabric and
That's
make
cool.
things out of it. So I think it'd be
Oh,
really
that's a good idea.
yeah, to like explore that design and maybe do something with it, especially if we, maybe one day want cosplayers, to have an
Oh, yeah.
accurate, an accurate thing to reference or sample or something, even if they kind of DIY it. But yeah, I don't know. It's a really cool and beautiful article of clothing.
Oh, yay, thank you. Glad you like it.
Yeah, I like that little tidbit about the trying to get the Aether color into the design, even if it's slight, or at least thinking about that. That's like a nice tie that, like, I think people acknowledge subconsciously, but then when you say it, you're like, oh, that's so cool, So I like that. And I think what else is cool is talking about the character designs. Like Nelly juxtaposes Gia in so many ways in terms of her design. So was that a character that you started designing soon after Gia, or was that like down the line?
Oh, actually can't recall, but I know that she wasn't so far after Gia because I was thinking if they were going to have this kind of buddy relationship that she should really stand out next to someone who's her complete opposite. So yeah, definitely a lot of whites, a lot of bright stuff, gold, shiny, uh, curved lines, and yeah, fluffy hair. Yeah, I'm glad that they picked the fluffy hair. Actually, I think she had a short bob for a while.
Yeah, it definitely stands out. I mean, even glasses versus no glasses. I think, doesn't she have kind of like a space in between her teeth as well? Like, there's all these like little things that's like, it's almost the direct opposite of Gia, which is kind of cool seeing them next to each other. And that being said as well, like, we have so many characters, and can you estimate how many you think you did? Because it's quite a lot.
Man, I can't even estimate. Like my brain thinks 100, but I think people would disagree with that statement.
Well,
What do you think, Gary?
We do have a 100 plus characters.
Yeah, we're definitely
for
plus.
every single character that you've designed, you've also made 5 to 6 different versions of them. So I mean, your numbers are up there, like way more than 100 for sure.
I'm always glad with the ones you pick though. So thank you for always giving that good art direction going, because I'm like, I don't know which one. I don't know.
Well, that's when you know you have a good art director too, because like that's always the meme, right? Like you show like 3 things and they always pick the one you hate the most, right? So it's interesting. That's been my experience, at least in the past.
I think the most satisfying thing about doing concept work and then is when you show something to your overlords, so your art director and creative director, and they kind of go, that's not what I was thinking about, but then they go, that's even better. And that's like super satisfying feeling. And then like with Mika's work, whenever we put it in front of Dwayne and the narrative lead, that's always the case. Like they're always blown away by Mika's work, and they're always like, this isn't what I was thinking, but it's better. So yeah. Yeah, don't take it wasn't what I was thinking as a bad thing too, because like you're telling them what's going to go in the game, and that's awesome, and that's a good position to be in. So
But please tell me anytime I'm completely off the mark. Just be like, please redo that.
no,
It's fine.
you're never very far off the mark.
Glad to hear.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think what can be appreciated about the character designs is you could have just as easily gotten a brief that's like, I don't know, guy standing in terminal, and then it's like you put some boring outfit on him. But at least what I've noticed about all the designs is just like you'll take something simple like a vest, and the way you'll kind of cut it or layer onto it has just some interesting shapes to make it feel like it's fitting into our world in a more fantastical sort of way. So do you feel like that, and this leads into like the style kind of conversation, and you've already mentioned sort of having like an anime like stylistic background and stuff like that. Do you feel like that's what's truly sort of bled into this? Do you feel like there's something that you can learn or teach yourself in terms of like getting to that style? I know this is a kind of abstract question, but it's always that thing of like, how do I make my character stand out? And do you have like rules for yourself of like, well, if I do this, this, and this, it's always going to make a cool character?
I don't know if I have a set rule in that way where I'm like, these three things will definitely get me something amazing. But I feel with this game, it's actually kind of the opposite of taking anime stuff and applying it. I'm trying to not do it as much, I think, because oh, early on, I felt that my tendency for exaggerated, really flamboyant type things was not quite fitting with the new direction of the game. So I do take some aspects being like, oh, like the silhouette is quite uninteresting. I should maybe add like a shoulder or like a hand up or something just to make it a little different. But otherwise, oh, I'm trying to tone it down more while keeping some interesting dynamic silhouettes in mind, I guess. I don't quite know how to describe it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh.
yeah, like, uh, oh, dang. That's such a good
Well,
question too, and I feel bad that I can't answer it quite well on the fly.
well, can I just
Go
say,
ahead.
like, one thing
Mhm.
Mika's really good at doing, because like 1930s, like the outfits and all of that stuff, if you look up the historical reference, it's not super interesting. But
Mhm.
Mika, I think because of your anime background and all of that kind of stuff, I think you have a way of adding seams to the outfits and adding
Mhm.
patterns in the right spots that actually kind of makes these normally boring outfits look like they fit into a slightly more sci-fi, slightly more steampunk environment. And I
Mhm.
think that's what makes some of the boring 1930s stuff look really cool and interesting. And you're really good at doing that, even if it is just like subtle little things.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah,
say,
I think a good example of that is something that you encounter quite early in the game. The
mhm.
bartender, he has this apron that has like these really sort of like architectural elements in it.
Mhm.
And you can tell there's some like gold that's shining in his apron, and just the level of detail there. Other people, again, when I'm watching streams or folks playing the demo, things like that have come up, and the detail in their clothing, even like Gary was saying with seams and buttons and collars and things like that. That people are certainly noticing those things,
Mhm.
and yeah, I think taking what was really sort of at least for the average person, a pretty drab time in fashion.
Mhm.
Like the average person was not, didn't look like a flapper or a party goer
Yeah.
type of person. It was really sort of muted and boring and
Mhm.
just all, natural fibers and probably one color. Um,
Mhm.
and so I think you've done a really good job of sort of taking that and keeping it, sort of true for somebody who might be a lower class um, person or character in the game, and making them look and feel like they belong in that environment. You've done a good job of that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's hard to like cut up the shapes when the shapes are all quite rectangular, I guess. So the seams did help for sure. And like using textures to break up all that monotony was something I started applying later than I would have liked, but yeah, it's
Yeah, I
That's
think
It's working for you.
I think the benefit of the time period too is you can easily accessorize the characters, like hats and bands and coats and stuff like that. There's like, you can layer them without them looking like too weird. And I think when you have layers on a character, there's a lot more you can like play around with, as opposed to like modern day fashion. It's like a plain t-shirt and plain shorts or whatever, you know. It's like, what can you really do with that to make it look exciting for a character? So you did bring up just now a very interesting point that I was curious about. Like, you're like, okay, I started integrating I started integrating patterns like later on in production, and I'm sure there's something that maybe piqued your interest at that time, or you were like studying something at the time, perhaps. Like, what did you do to continue to push your skill level further? Because the characters like are highly rendered, highly detailed, they're proportionate, you know, like these are all like strong artistic skills that don't happen, you know, just by like, oh, I just tried, you know, like you had to get there somehow. So are you like a hardcore like studier, like you study anatomy? Do you just draw like a ton? Like, what did you do to hone your skills?
She drew 500 characters, so.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I would say that work itself was already giving me 8 hours of practice every day. And during the time I'm concepting a character, I'm actually doing a lot of research. So pose referencing, and then taking a lot of pictures of myself, actually, if I can't figure out a hand or like arm stuff. And then I have a lot of models. Like I have this cool little hand model that I kind of bought recently.
Perfect.
One of these. So it's just a lot of research, and then during the time that I'm researching, I feel like I'm slowly picking up on a lot of things that I maybe didn't focus on back then, or new things that I'm like, oh, actually, if I do it this way, it looks a lot better. So I want to say it's like a slow accumulation over time of really just making sure to draw and study, gather references every day, at least for a couple hours, and then just applying what you're learning. Sometimes I'm not learning, but that's okay.
Yeah, sometimes you're kind of just doing, right?
Yeah, sometimes I'm drawing and going, wow, I actually forgot how to draw today. That's great. And then you just have to kind of live with that for 8 hours, and that's fine. But overall, I think the constant character work has helped me a lot.
Do you feel like there's anything in particular, like your leads or your art directors pushed you on? Like, one thing I can very clearly remember from a project I worked on previously was like, my art director looked at my characters and like he just drew a center line through my characters, and I saw how like off things were, and he's like, just do that all the time now. Then now you'll know it's like symmetrical. So like, were there things like that maybe you learned from your leads, or things that were pointed out to you, I guess, that you weren't really considering before?
Yeah, definitely the hands.
Okay.
Hands and feet, because it's a cartoon thing. So like, I love Kingdom Hearts too. They just exaggerate the proportions. Like heads are way too big or too small, and like hands are huge and feet are big. So it was good to know that other people are seeing something as a little bit too cartoonishly something, and my mind's so primed to see it all the time that I'm like, oh yeah, that's normal. Like,
Yeah.
so it's good to get a little reality check here and there. Yeah, definitely. Also, seeing other character art like Joe's work was really great to riff off of, because he was so good with like anatomy and stuff like that. It was good to study his work and then look at mine and go, okay, does this look good next to one another?
Nice. And are there any other like artist influences that you pulled in, like, I don't know, just either popular newer artists or, you know, like old masters that you really appreciate?
I have not, other than really just Leyendecker, honestly. I just try to keep him in mind at all times.
Yeah.
Just so that it maintains some sort of cohesiveness. Because a lot of the artists that I do like are still cartoonish or very Japanese. So I try not to bleed that into this game too much.
Yeah.
But I
So
pick up stuff like, oh, their poses are dynamic, or their characters feel like they have weight to it. So,
Yeah, I know
go
you've been
ahead.
working on this IP for almost 5 years now. Has sort of that Leyendecker style bled into your personal art at all, or has your personal style changed, I guess, as a result of eight
uh,
hours a
yeah,
day Leyendecker style?
definitely, yeah. Like my rendering has adapted the line, the line stuff, and just yeah. But it's still anime, so it's
Yeah,
like a little bit more three-dimensional, less 2D. Yeah, definitely.
cool.
It
so
was inevitable.
is that a way you feel like when you work on personal work, it's a way to like, because I know art for work becomes work to a certain extent. Like, how do you kind of free yourself when you're going back to your, personal work? Is it just like, oh, the anime style is just fun and it makes me feel happy kind of thing, and that's like my comfort zone? Like what do you do to kind of like get back in the zone for the fun of it,
Oh, I really just surround myself with things that I like, I guess, and that I want to just for fun emulate that have nothing to do with like heavy realism or anything like that. So things like oh God, like anime. I guess like if I look at ping pong, the animation, I'll just be like, man, that's cool. Like, and then just go and draw something that's completely flat, like no shading, just line work and flat colors, that kind of thing. But
nice.
uh, I think art's usually generally fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't I don't feel upset or anything doing realism. It's good. It's fun.
It's one of those things though that I feel like some artists can just sit and like do the same like you could just draw characters forever and be totally cool with it. I
Mhm.
personally like to have a little bit more variety and like jumping around, having my hands in different things.
Mhm.
And it's just funny. Like Gary, what do you feel like you are as an artist?
I'm probably in the same camp as you. I've all these crazy ideas in my head, and I'm just like, I gotta do them all. So I'm like, yeah, like, oh, I really want to design this car. Oh, I really want to. I have this cool idea for a character, but I got to figure out the background that they're gonna be in, and
Yeah.
it's just like it turns into this big whirlwind of craziness. So yeah, I'm like ADHD when it comes to art, a little. So
Yeah, it's always amazed me to see people that can just like hone in on the thing and like become like excellent at that thing. And I don't know, it's just a different I don't know way of thinking, I guess.
and I mean, for most artists, like if you want to get a job, that's kind of the thing you need to be able to do is focus in on something and get really good at it.
Yeah,
If you don't have something that you're really good at in your back pocket, then it might be a little bit trickier for you to get out there and get after it professionally.
yeah. Mika, do you like practice other things like backgrounds or illustrations or anything like that, just to kind of have that as a skill set?
Yeah, I definitely do. Um,
But
but
you
then
just
I
really
sometimes
like
get
characters, right?
oh no, more like I've gotten so sometimes I've gotten so used to doing characters where I'm like, oh, like this is generally comfortable. It still has its like, I'm gonna pull my hair out. When I'm doing new stuff, I immediately get annoyed or like blocked, and then my brain goes, maybe I shouldn't do this right now. It's not even like the instant gratification of like, oh yeah, I can feel the flow of this is like something I have to struggle through. But yes, definitely. I do practice like some prop design or like background stuff or things on the side and get incredibly annoyed, but it's still good.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, one of the things I was thinking about as well is like, so we recently had the voice actors on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and when you finally got to hear the voices of the characters that you've designed, like what was that feeling
Mhm.
like? Did it match what was in your head?
Oh yeah. It
Really?
was awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
I almost wish that I could have heard them earlier too, so that I could just like add a little bit of something because like everyone's voice has such a nice flavor to it, and it's like, oh, like an extra ingredient that I could have like, but I think they fit great. They're really cool.
That's awesome.
Voice actors are awesome.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite character that you've designed?
Definitely. I think Gia is an easy pick for me.
Sure.
Yeah, because I think I spent the most time on her naturally.
Yeah.
So I do feel an attachment to that character, I think. I
And
think there was like one
I
other
like,
one though.
go ahead.
yeah, I really like Nellie. I think she's just so
Oh.
soft and pretty, and I love her glasses.
Oh yeah.
And just yeah, her curls and just her whole design. I think she's very cute and sweet, and she just she looks like what she's supposed to. Just as far as
hmm
the character goes. I don't know what Tyler and the narrative team had in mind, but um, like clearly, I think you just nailed it. And you were talking earlier just
Oh.
about the juxtaposition of Nellie and Gia and how they're both
I do
they're both very different. They're both
recall
from different worlds. Yeah.
there was a Nelly design where she was wearing like a really ugly looking dress. I'm really glad that we
Oh
steered away from
yeah.
that because it actually was like kind of just painful to see just how off that dress was.
I know they were like, we want her in like the hideous floral print. And I'm like, I got you. Let me just put her in that. I got
Yeah.
it.
I
You
remember
delivered
seeing
on
those.
that one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can manipulate the opinion of your overlords by putting the ugly one in there on purpose so that they'll naturally be directed to the one you want them to pick. But that's a very
Or make
dangerous
it a little
game because
smaller.
Yeah, that was the
sometimes
strategy I always heard. Make the one you like the big thumbnail, and the other ones are tiny.
But then it's like even worse when they look at all that and then they look at the tiny one and go, yeah, that's the
one.
one. I knew it. That's the one.
Yeah, on the other hand, I don't know if you heard the podcast that we shot the other day, but we asked the voice actors the opposite question. They were all like, yes, we had character art first, and it sounds like the character art did help influence their voice acting as well. So it was cool to hear that there was that back and forth.
Oh.
And the other thing I was wanting to ask as well is, what was the relationship like working with the writing team? Like what was that process like? Like how in depth or not in depth were some of the briefs? What did that look like?
Usually the writers would draft up a really intricate character profile that I could work off of, especially for the main characters. So I could just honestly just go to their profile, read through their whole story, like bullet point by bullet point, things that they like and dislike was super helpful. And then paraphernalia and like all that other stuff that they added, things that they might be holding, things that they might personality quirks that they might have. That stuff was awesome. I love that. And then I think for the minor characters, it was more just like dude at a stall, relatively plain, doesn't stand out. So those were more just tickets, I guess, and I got to play with it more. And then the main characters had more specific things that I got to riff off of.
I
Gotcha.
remember
And then
back when
yeah.
we're doing the more mechanical design, like Cress had a bird cage strapped to her back, and it
Yeah.
had
Yeah, she had like I forgot about that.
it was very fantastical, very.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
cool. And then from that point,
And
was it just like, Gary, was it you and Dwayne and Tyler kind of all analyzing it together? Like who's like the first pass on how accurately the character matches the brief from like the director's standpoint?
Well, generally what will happen is Mika will do her awesome concepts, and then myself, Dwayne, and Tyler will sit down and generally narrative is the one that has to be super comfortable with it. If Dwayne has any like design issues with it, he'll speak up. But Dwayne's been working very closely with narrative, so
Gotcha.
they already have kind of a vision, even if it's a cloudy one in their mind of what
Sure.
the character's supposed to look like. And then when Mika puts those concepts in front of them, that just kind of helps solidify it. So generally, it's those two. Dwayne and Tyler will say, "Yeah, that's the character," except, and then we'll kind of go through a discussion about, "Hey, is that historically accurate? That hat? Maybe
Yeah.
we need to change it." then we kind of really start picking it apart. But yeah, that's kind of how it works on the Overlord side.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much art to go through. We've talked about this numerous times on the podcast, but just like it's such an in-depth world, and there's so many assets that need to all feel like they match together. Yeah, was there like anything in particular that you were having to keep track of in your head, Mika, as you're designing, to be like, I need to not stray too far in one direction? Or was there a point, maybe if you like played the game at a certain point where you're like, oh man, my characters are starting to look like not right? Like, how did you keep yourself in check? Or was it mostly like Gary and Dwayne and Tyler that were kind of overseeing everything?
I think I would say it's mostly like Gary and Dwayne had like a good eye for what it would fit in the universe and what was like way too much. Like, all right, let's tone back on this, or like maybe give them that. It was helpful to see them on the backgrounds too, as the backgrounds were being made, to make sure that they look like they really weren't standing out in a bizarre way against like the environment that we've been developing. So that is also something that I would pay attention to. Yeah, especially once we started doing crowd work, that felt more important.
Yeah. Oh my God, some of those
circling
crowds.
back to what you said too, though, is like on the background side with the environments and stuff, we were working hard to make sure that the environments like were basically the stage for your characters. So we had to make sure that the environments looked right with your characters. There was a lot of that going on the background side too. So
Yeah. Team effort.
Yep.
I might as well just ask this question. If you could have breakfast with any of the characters from Aether and Iron, who would it be? Who are you drawn to personality wise?
Not Gia. We already got Gia out of
Yeah.
I mean somebody else.
Apollo.
He seems like a suave person who's good at conversation. I'm pretty awkward. I think he would be like good at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he'd be easy to talk to. Yeah. That would be nice.
That's a good
And then
answer.
he might recruit me for some kind of rebellion maybe at the end, but generally pretty good.
Oh man. Was there a particular character that you felt was very hard to nail down, or did it feel like everything was kind of, and again, let's like not go GR main characters, like maybe a side character that was tough? I know did you design that like circus guy? Was that you?
Oh, was it the guy with like the hat?
Yeah. Like that was one from me just like casually looking at the characters that's very like that had to have been a different exercise in your brain to design that guy, you know?
That one was actually more easy because it
Really?
was kind of like it was kind of different. So I guess my brain was like, "Oh yeah, you get to like do a little more dynamic pose." Yeah, that one actually wasn't too bad, surprisingly. I think I have more problem with characters that have more detail to them, so then I kind of get caught up in my own head about how they appear. So I think Luca was a little hard for me because he's like a bigger guy. He's supposed to be tough, but he's also supposed to be warm and friendly, approachable. But he needs to look imposing-ish, but also needs to look defeated, kind of, because he's not ready to fight yet. So there's like a lot of like complexity in his profile when I was reading it, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can convey a kind, defeated, but strong, but ready to go, kind of like just all over the place kind of guy. But I think he turned out. I like him, but that one was a bit tough. Yeah, because he looked pretty scary, I think, in his initial design. He had like a hook on his belt, and he had a very like
he had that flannel jacket on too, right?
Yeah. He looked a lot more
he looked like
mean,
a brawler.
But But I think we went the direction of making sure that he had a smile on his face and like quite jovial. So that helped a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely turned out good. I imagine it's tough when you have like the game is story, right? There's so much story behind all the characters, so you're really having to like think through all of those emotional beats of the character when you're considering the design. So yeah, I can imagine that gets kind of tough alongside the time period, alongside the accuracy of proportions and all of that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a feat that you and the other artists overcame with this project. That's just an insane amount of 2D art, but looks beautiful. So it all paid off. So yeah, does anyone else have any other like questions for Mika, or is there anything you wanted to talk about, Mika, in terms of your process or anything crazy that happened throughout the project that you wanted to bring out?
No, I just think everyone works so hard. It is so awesome seeing everyone's work come together. I love all the what is it? The showcase. It was really cool seeing what everyone's working on and then seeing the game come together is awesome. Good job, everybody. You guys did so good.
I did have one more question. Have you looked at any of the fan art that has sort of come through? Yeah.
Not entirely on my own, but I've definitely seen your posts and like what you shared. It's so cute. I love it.
Yes. There's been some more recently in Discord that's been really good. One of them of what's her name? It just left me. Tayana. It's really beautiful. And just another one of the character designs that I love is Tayana. So it's just like, what does that feel like, right? The things that you've worked now years and years and years making these characters for other people to see them and connect with them to the point that they also draw them in their own styles. How does that feel?
Really good. It feels awesome. I'm so glad that people are resonating with the characters. It's like feels very fulfilling. Yeah, as an artist, I think.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And any cosplays in the future would be
A lot more,
that's what we're hoping for.
Style fan art of all the characters.
Oh.
Nice. Is there anywhere you would like people to find you online? Are you looking for people to find your work?
I do have an Instagram, but I honestly I don't do much social media. But other than that, you can find me at Mika P on Instagram. Not super active, but sometimes I'm on there. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm like the anti-social media artist. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Usually people be like, yes, I have this and I have a Twitch. And I'm like, I have nothing.
Oh, we'll rope you into marketing.
Oh, no.
Cool. All right. Well, that was a fun discussion. It was nice to get to know you a little bit better as well. And thank you for joining us. And to everyone that has watched, just know that the game is coming out at the end of this month, March 31st. So please go to Steam and wishlist. We are going to be at a ton of events. By the time this airs on YouTube, we will be at GDC if, I don't know, anyone's around or whatever. And just know that we do these weekly on our Discord, and you are free to hop in and listen live. So yeah, we will see you guys again next week. And thank you again, Mika, for joining us, and Gary as well.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. I just shut off my camera.
That's okay.
Mika's itching to go.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Everyone.